Hello, I am the Ranting Usher, and as many of you know, I've been reviewing Al Pacino films during the course of round 1 of my top 5 best film countdown. Now that I've finally made it down to my number 1 pick, I will admit there was some tough competition. I had a hard time choosing between these 3 films. But I've finally made up my mind, and I'm so excited that I'm just going to dive right into it. Let me talk you to your seat. And my number 1 choice for round 1 in my top 5 countdown of favorite Al Pacino films is Carlitos Way. Released in 1993 from Brian De Palma, the director of Scarface, and starring Al Pacino, Sean Penn, and Penelope Ann Miller, Carlitos Way is about a Puerto Rican ex-con, Carlito Brigante, played by Al Pacino, who, following his release from prison, vows to go straight and pursue the dream of a better life. Carlito cannot, however, escape the corruption from his past, which surrounds him constantly. Carlito runs into many of the gangsters he was once in league with, as well as some new hoodlums who have arrived on the scene, casting him into a state of conflict. All he wants to do is save up enough money so that he and his rekindled lover, played by Penelope Ann Miller, can leave New York City and the crime scene as far behind as possible. You can't help but sympathize with Carlito. There is a scene where he washes prints off his gun that he was forced to use in a shootout, and he says, "I don't invite this, it just comes to me." That's exactly what happens through the entire movie. As soon as you think he's getting out, Carlito is thrust into yet another situation where he must fall back on his old ways to ensure that his dream of a better life one day comes true. From the moment Carlitos Way begins until the last 5 minutes, the suspense builds and builds and builds. It's as if director Brian De Palma took some of the most suspenseful moments from Scarface and infused them into Carlitos Way, but with a rich, unique, and compelling narrative. While there are stark similarities between the 2 films, you're probably not going to notice unless you're really looking for them. I hope you're not looking too hard, because if you are, this great movie is going to pass you by. Obviously, Pacino has played a fair number of gangsters in his career, but he is equally adept at playing someone on the opposite end of the crime spectrum. Pacino is excellent at bringing out the heart and soul of his character, as well as the dark side that he can't help but resort to in order to stay alive, and he can go from one extreme to another in a matter of seconds. He absolutely nails the Puerto Rican accent in Carlitos Way. It is totally genuine, and he carries it through to the end. He has some great one-liners that are definitely worth quoting. Sean Penn is also great in this movie as the lawyer Davy Kleinfeld who gets Carlito out of prison. Whereas Carlito's motivations are clear-cut and well-rounded, Kleinfeld's are more ambiguous, more sinister. He undergoes a gradual arc from lawyer to gangster. Kleinfeld is a naive and shady character who succumbs to the corruption Carlito is trying so hard to get away from, leaving both men vulnerable to betrayal. Penn and Pacino play off each other with such sincerity and intensity. They own each moment they are on screen together. Penelope Ann Miller, as Gail, Carlito's love interest, delivers a fantastic performance as well. She represents the dream Carlito desires the most. Penelope is extremely beautiful, especially when she teases him from behind her apartment door that is latched by a chain. Carlito busts right through the chain and embraces her. There is so much heart and passion permeating the scene, and juxtaposed with the song "You Are So Beautiful" by Joe Cocker, my heart just melts whenever I watch it. The set design is very well crafted. The film is saturated with color schemes and vibrant lighting, contributing a look and feel to the film that is eye-catching and very exciting. That's a technique De Palma made entirely his own. It's as if he took a paintbrush to each and every scene and smeared his signature all over it. There is a clever use of cinematography when Pacino's character is at a club with the other gangsters. He knows they are suspicious of him. He knows they are onto him. The camera does a complete 360. We catch a glimpse of everyone present, and you can tell they are all plotting against him. That's spectacular filmmaking. For all these reasons and more, this movie ranks at number 1 in round 1 of my top 5 countdown of favorite Al Pacino films. On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being atrocious and 5 a masterpiece, I give Carlitos Way a solid 5. Thank you so much for following my countdown. If you happen to miss any of the Pacino films that I previously reviewed, I will arrange them chronologically on my blog, rantingusher.com. I'm also going to do some additional thoughts and honorable mentions, so be sure to check that out, and let me know what you think of my selections in the comments down below. I am the Ranting Usher, and thank you so much for watching. Your viewership and support means the world. And be sure to come back next time for round 2 of my favorite Al Pacino films.